Hi guys, I'm back again with potentially another episode about chakras and meditation and maybe a bit of, here and there, other things. And probably as we get going, it'll get darker again because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, winter time. Yes, and it's the beginning of November, the 2nd of November today. And yeah, so it gets dark quicker and sooner, and I'm having tea, green tea, and these to go with it. Speculaasbrok. Not all of this, obviously. I'm having a piece of this. That's what they look like, and green tea for my for my break in the middle of the afternoon. I have also pulled a card for this particular session because I have been thinking a lot about the root chakra, grounding, and other, themes around that. Trying to get a clearer view of what it is that we need and what it is that I need, how I work, how I go about it. And if you hear all sorts of weird thumping and scratching noises, it's my cats because it's their it's their playtime. Normally at this time of day they're just still asleep or they're walking around or they go outside, and I don't know what it is, but now they're having a go at each other. So that explains that, okay, you folks? So back to me cards. This is the card that I drew. It's the Mary L Tarot, as you well know, that I always use, I always fall back on. The Page of Discs. So seeing as I was, so involved with all this grounding business and the root chakra and how it relates to all the other energy systems in our body and around it, and whatever we can do with those things, I think the Page of Discs is pretty nice, pretty cool. And it's such a pretty card also with little Indian slippers that he's got on, moccasins. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love these. I love this deck to death. It's just fabulous, and it comes with superb answers every time, and just gives me right away what I need. So, where to begin? Where to begin? I suppose that I left you more or less at the Alta Major chakra at the back of the neck, and I described a bit of the processes of what it felt like when the energy, or the Shakti energy, or part of it at least, passes by the Alta Major, how it works for me, and that it passes at the back of my spine and down back to earth again. And so one thing that sort of has struck me recently is that the root chakra isn't always open, whatever that may mean. Same as the crown chakra. And whatever it is that we can do to go about that, to make it easier for ourselves, especially regarding the root chakra, it has to do, of course, with obtaining or maintaining a flow of the vital energy that we need to survive, right? So a lot of that is, I suppose, the vital energy is stored in the body in all sorts of places, in the flesh itself, in our our anatomy, in all sorts of ways. So it's not like we run out of energy just like that. But I still think it's quite interesting to see whether we can find an approach that really works well for us to access energy whenever we need it, so that we can, feel freer to do whatever it is that we are engaged in. So another little bit of a caution here is that I make all these pronouncements about the chakras, about the Shakti energy, about focusing and meditation and practices that we can choose to do. Most of this is all to do with what I would call an impersonal level of our our being, of our incarnation, of the way we walk around on the surface of this earth. Okay, so whatever happens, what we do with our energies, that's different. That's where everybody is different. The access that we have to these realms, okay? Everybody's got their own access point. You and your access point are different from mine. And so all I am doing here is I'm trying to present to you or to show you an approach of a structure which I think is universal for human beings. That's my assumption. I have never seen, for example, a person without a root chakra or without an aura. That doesn't make sense to me. It's possible that those people exist. I have never seen them, and I don't think it doesn't immediately. The moment I think of that type of supposition, I find that very unsettling. I don't think it would be healthy. So I made a drawing, which I'm going to show you, about the energy system, the way I think it is for all of us, in such a way that we can approach this from our own personal lives. Okay, and to me, I have had to plow through a great number of emotional and mental characteristics, intellectual characteristics, before I could get at this. Okay, it has taken me the better part of 30 years, I suppose. So I'm just going to share this with you, and you can do with this whatever suits you best. And maybe there is a particular part of this diagram or this drawing that appeals to you or that interests you, where you would think, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something I can pay attention to, or there's something that hurts there, or that wants me to pay attention to it. And if that's the case, then of course, that's what you should do. You should follow your own guts with this. So the guts, this is all about the guts. The root chakra and the rest of the energies that come through it and towards us, towards who we really are, towards our personalities and our emotional lives and all the rest of it. It all passes through the belly, really. Huh? So, and there's one more point that I want to stress here, with regard to the opening of the root chakra. What I felt is that it's really essential for me to access the Shakti energy and distribute it, or let it be distributed in the way it needs to be inside my body or inside my field or in my life, in any way I want it to, or need it, or feel the need for it to go. For that, I just need to relax that part of myself. I need, it opens by itself, the root chakra opens, but of course it's close, very close to all those organs at the under half of our bellies, right? So digestive organs, reproductive organs, sexual organs, and all the rest of it. And a lot of the organs that are there carry another charge, a load of pain or stress or fear that we have somehow or other inherited from the people, from our ancestors in one way or another. And so I found that actually to be the most important part, and maybe it's the only relevant part of this lecture here that I'm going to give to you, is that in trying to relax that area of ourselves, I have encountered quite a number of, points of stress, points of pain, points of fear, in my anatomy, in my bottom. There you go. This bottom right there, except it's right there. And our organs suffer for us. Our belly suffers for us. That's something that wakes me up, that thought right there. because I think, if we pay a bit more attention to it, if we pay attention to it when we take that famous hot bath with aromatherapy oils and candles and all the rest of it, why not put your hands on your belly for a bit and befriend it? If you befriend it, it feels seen. And that may be hard the first couple of times, and then after a while, the belly becomes your ally and your friend. And you have to get used to this. So that's the whole, basically, that's a physical version of the completion process again. It's all more or less the same thing, is instead of fighting and battling and being against it, try to understand where it's coming from and whatever it is that you can do together. And it takes a bit of doing. You have to, it takes time and all those things. So I thought that was a really essential part of the process for me to be able to relax my root chakra so that I can get, come in contact with this ocean of fantastic Shakti energy that I can use for so many things, that I can use for making videos, that I can use to talk to you guys, that I can use to talk to my friends. It goes in, it flows into whatever system that it is that I am working with at the time. And it also takes care of me. It makes me healthy. It makes me happy to be in contact with all those beautiful energies. So that's why that was my introduction right there. And as a picture of that energy, let me show you this now. And maybe I can put this not too close to the camera. And now I, of course, can't work with my glasses because I can't see it with my glasses and I can't see it without my glasses. So we'll just have to be reasonably sure that I know what I'm talking about here. Hi guys. Yeah, whatever. The brown circle at the bottom is the earth. This is my earth line here, down at the bottom, not to scale, people. It wouldn't work to draw this to scale in whatever shape or form. So this is the heart of the earth. And this edge here, or this sort of half, a bit of a blob, that would be my earth star chakra, okay? And the energy flows up through my canal. I have drawn a couple of darker blobs on each side where I personally feel that older energies can sometimes connect. The more we work with all this, the more this happens. Older energies connect with our grounding and can sometimes become enmeshed in it, and they have to be healed and, transported up to the light or the flame or whatever it is that we're using at the time. So, but that's a part of the healing process that takes place within the earth itself and within our earth channel, our earth line. And it doesn't really not immediately have all sorts of repercussions for the body, which is up here, okay? Also, completely not to scale, because I wasn't worried about drawing these things anatomically in whatever way. And what we get here is this go to up like that, and here is chakra number 1. If I did it correctly, there's a number 1 right there, yes. So I've been thinking about this, and I suppose what happens is that the root chakra contracts whenever we're trying to control something. It isn't really like the bowels or the other female organs down there, the uterus or what have you, but it's a bit like it. So tension in the organs, whichever one of them it is that you are dealing with, will affect the root chakra as well. I can feel it right now. If I haven't had enough hydration going in my day, then my bladder meridians are going to be slightly upset and there will be tension, okay? So that affects my root chakra's behavior by itself. Okay, and it says here, to incorporate energy is to control it. So the body, I suppose, is my thought about this, it accepts the energy that it gets. It is also, the whole body is historically a manifestation of that energy. That's what my idea anyway. But if you go really close in and look closely in detail at the root chakra, then the essential and interesting and fascinating really bit about the root chakra is that it functions as a gateway also for us to learn control, to learn to incorporate that energy, become one with the body. Okay, the energy is supposed to meld with the body, and they are supposed to do the work together. So more or less, there you go. So that is the mechanism that describes, to me at least, the mechanism, and I'm sharing this with you out there. Hi, new subscribers, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us, and very much welcome to all of this, because some of you actually joined because you dig my stuff, and that's insane. That is so beautiful. That makes me cry. So, no, let's just get back to the job at hand here, okay? But this much, guys, fabulous. I have drawn different colors here. The orange bit is all to do with vital manifestation of the energy. So the energy goes up like this. I have abandoned for now the whole chakras rainbow procedure, because I wanted to use colors that express the way it feels to me. Okay, I'm going to go over to the other side now for a change. And the orange color for me represents best the way we feel when we feel good, when our bodies feel good, when we feel vitalized and energized, and we are happy with, not happy really, but capable and competent and, generally it'll get us through the day, like that. So that's the orange color. Now I hope you can see that, but towards the second half of the torso here, it goes pink, and the pink has everything to do with emotion. So that's going from chakras number 2 really up to and including number 5 right here, throat chakra. All that is going to have to do with emotion in one way or another. And then from there on we go into this red color, and the red is what I would call a color of self. It may be green, it may be gold, whatever you choose. It's just so as to have a different, show you the levels. That's what I'm trying to do here. So the red, to me at least, would be a thing of the mind also. And it sort of emerges from a combination of the way I feel physically, the way I feel emotionally, and then how I think about myself. So all those three together, okay? And in the long term, that kind of defines who I am on this planet. And there's a lot of more details and things that I can point out. There's the black moon symbol right there in the middle of the belly, because I think that's where it hurts most. That's where it is bound to grab hold of us at some stage in our lives, whether we like it or not. And I put in other symbols of planets over here, more or less. It doesn't really mean all that much necessarily, just depends on what you work with and whether you're interested in that. One interesting other bit is that I think this whole Shakti and by this time Kundalini energy is going up through the body like this, and there's a kind of a little blue-purple spiral right there, and that's a very specific point that's situated actually sort of behind the heart chakra, or slightly lower than it, and it emanates a white light by itself. It has been a very well-kept secret for some reason, probably because it was dangerous to use publicly in one way or another. But it has been my salvation. In that point is where I find my core and my silence, and from there I can, walk with confidence, walk with trust, embrace whatever it is that's coming at me. And it's a part of me. And again, I have been talking before about the layers of consciousness, and consciousness being all these things, right? And so much more. And our thoughts, and our memories, and our relationships, and all the rest of it. So it's not easy to make a diagram that includes all of us in one go. But I had, I just had a lot of fun drawing this anyway. So each and every one of these little points, and the stars here are the actual chakras in some form or shape. And in here, there's another spiral, another really blue spiral, and that would be the pineal gland, or whatever really does the job in the middle of our skulls, in the center. There's another, I would say, another source of silence right there that can be meditated with very beautifully, and it gives us so much more perspective on whatever it is we're doing and feeling, and whether we really need to feel all those things, and whether it wouldn't be, in my case, a lot more pleasant to not feel so much of those, anger and fear and resentment and all those type of things, and lugging around all the old stuff forever. But that in parentheses. What else do I want to talk about? Here is over here we get chakras number 6 and 7 and 8 at the back of the head, probably, because this blue thing, this is the Alta Major right here. So in the Alta Major energy, which I would then distinguish or propose as an alternative for, or a name for, the energy when it is actually no longer Kundalini. It is Alta Major energy, okay? Going down like this in the blue band, back down probably into the earth again. So I have even drawn a couple of blue blobs around here, hoping that that is the way it works, but I will tell you if I find out. So that's then a whole cycle that I described in the previous video already. And another part of this that I have described before, I've drawn a kind of a circle type figure right there, which would be this point here. And I've looked it up now. It is a point on a meridian that is called, in the Chinese medicine, it is called the governing vessel. And this point would be, in as far as I can tell, number 24. I have found a couple of interesting links. I will put them in the description bar below for you to have a look at if you enjoy that type of thing. And the energies that I have perceived up here, so opposite my number 24 point, right? That's not a chakra. It's like maybe a type of projection or something, but it's served me so much in the past years. I have used the energies of the that sun type source center a million times, and with great enjoyment, and it has helped me, and it still helps me a couple of times a week to clear out, like I've described before, all the stuff that's coming to me. For example, my husband's had quite a difficult month of October, not so much difficult emotionally as well as work-wise. It has been intensely busy, and even late evenings and so on. And he's had a bit of a, it has been a bit of a challenge, not only for him personally, but also for all the people in the office, because it was a VAT month, as they call that, where they have to, I don't know what the terms are in English, just submit for their clients the VAT reports to the tax office, something like that. You know what I mean? Nah, whatever. It's been hefty. And what happens, and there's more going on for my husband. He's managed to obtain his own soul contact. I wasn't expecting that to happen for another number of years yet. Isn't that extraordinary? And it was so easy that I want to talk about this. Yes, I do. I'm going to go into this anyway. I'm just hoping that my camera doesn't just go quick all of a sudden, and then I'll have to, come back to you for this. But I'll just keep on jabbing away, and you will know whether it has worked in the end. We were in the car driving together. I was driving, and he was suddenly very interested. It was a Saturday afternoon, beautiful weather. Work's been done, and we had a nice cup of coffee and a piece of pie, and we were on our way home, sort of. Still had a bit of mileage to do, and suddenly we got into this discussion about the soul and the contact with the soul, and how he'd very much like to find his own way towards that. And it was like he asked, how do I come into contact with something that's this big? And so, I described my own journey towards the soul and the soul contact before. And so I said, how would you go about it? It's like trying to talk to a whale or something. And he said, I remember something. He said, there's a German author, Michael Ende. It's the writer of The Never-Ending Story. He's also published a couple of other books, and one of them is, I don't know the title in English, but it's about a girl named Momo. And Momo is a girl, she can listen really well. That's her incredible talent, right? It's a great story. The Savers of the Time Savers, Momo and the Time Savers. That is the translation of the title, so maybe you can find it with that. At some point in the story, Momo says, I just go and sit very close to them and I listen. And that's what he quoted to me, saying that's what he would choose as an approach to his own soul. And I described to him how the soul is something that's really, omnipotent and quite strong and limitless, and not hampered by the way our bodies are, limited to our own experiences and perceptions and stuff like that. So I described all that, and he went into this, and I could just sort of feel it happening, of course, because the place just got really quiet and open, and there's a flavor of eternity coming into your life. That's amazing. So that was 2 weeks ago, and I was so pleased, of course, and we had the most fabulous conversations, and we walked in the woods and blah and yup, and all the time. It was just fabulous, and we had so much fun. And I can see how his life is coming together, and how the point was, for all this suffering, both his and mine, and our parents' and all that, the trajectory was unavoidable to get to this point. It was, it's like a validation also, or a justification in some way. Depends on how you want to look at it. And in the last weekend, we had another couple of really nice conversations, because that's what we do. And we had, in particular, we were interested in looking at people and seeing whether, especially people that we know very well, that we are connected to, that we feel close to, but they are suffering in one way or another. And I'm going to wrap this up now and get back to this point right away. So I will be seeing you guys soon. Thank you very much, you guys, for watching this bit. I just think it's going to be too confusing to have two of these subjects in one video. See you in a bit.